How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another Battlefield 3 weapon guide. Today we're going to take a look at one of the big boy toys in the support kit, the M240B, which is another one of those authentic LMGs, not like some of the weapons from the support category which are classed as LMGs but more like assault rifles on steroids. So let's get started with this guide for the M240B in Battlefield 3 with a look at some of its general stats. The power bar on my little chart is maxed out, with it being one of the highest power machine guns in the support kit. The typical figures for an LMG is 25 to 18.4, but all these heavyweight LMGs like the M240B and the M60 have a 34 to 22 damage profile. But usually with high power comes high recoil, and the M240B has the highest recoil profiles out of all the weapons in the support kit. Try and use this weapon without the bipod and you'll just totally lose track of your target and end up using half of that magazine just to try and get some shots in the right direction. Talking about magazine, the M240's capacity comes in at 100 rounds, and to finish off its stats, its rate of fire is pretty average at 650 rounds per minute. It's not as slow as the chug of the M60, but it's also not quite as fast as the likes of the M249. So the M240B is definitely one of the authentic true LMGs. You've got that mix of high power with high recoil and also that high magazine size of 100 rounds. In the support kit you've kind of got those two polar opposites in terms of weapons. You've got these true LMGs like the M240B, the M249 and the M60 versus those kind of grown up assault rifles like the M27 or the L86. While these more authentic LMGs gain you more man points, you do kind of have to take into consideration that you do have to play that more traditional support role, and that you'll need to deploy yourself down somewhere with a bipod in order to actually get some shots on target. If you try and run and gun with an M240B, that super high recoil is just going to mean that you're going to lose out on the majority of your gunfights, and in that kind of situation that's when you'd be better off with one of the lighter weight LMGs. If you do slow your game down though and plan ahead, you can get some really nice kill feeds with the M240B. The M240B is very similar to the M60 with the added benefit in that it's got a faster fire rate. A faster fire rate just basically means you're going to be able to spew more bullets down range, and with the help of extended mags you can have an almost never-ending stream of firepower. It is fun to slow your game down and take on that more traditional playstyle and just mow people down through choke points while positioned up on your bipod, but the bipod itself just totally puts me off from trying to play like this for any long periods of time. It's got to be one of the most frustrating aspects of Battlefield 3. I can never get it to deploy when I want it to. I'll see some enemies in the distance, I'll drop down prone and try and deploy it, then I'll finally get it set up on the third or fourth attempt, by which time the enemies have totally disappeared. Or I'll position myself behind some kind of like concrete barricade and get my bipod deployed, only to find that I can't actually see anything because the character's deployed behind the concrete block and not on top of it. So all in all, I did find it very frustrating, but on the other hand you can get some really nice and exciting kills. The main thing stopping you from getting nice kill feeds with the other weapons is the fact that you've got to stop and reload after one or two kills. But with the M240B's 200 rounds with the help of extended mags, you've got plenty of ammo to spare just to mow down anyone who gets in your way. So let's move on and take a look at my recommendations of an attachment configuration for your M240B in game. The iron sights on this weapon aren't too bad, but you get one of the nice optics as one of the first attachment unlocks. After 10 kills you get the holographic sight, which is a nice 1.5 magnification gun sight with a crosshair reticle. I'm usually not a fan of the higher magnification scopes like the 3.5 times, which is actually the first optic you get, or any of the higher power scopes like the ACOG. But once you're deployed on the bipod you can actually get away with these scopes and put them to use to take out those snipers at long range. Usually the recoil is too high with weapons to use these higher optic scopes, but because the recoil is cut down that much with the bipod, they suddenly become more worthwhile. But to create a more rounded setup where you're not at a serious disadvantage while on the move, the holographic sight just allows you to get both those long range kills and potentially still survive in those close range encounters. Don't even think about removing the bipod from this weapon. If you try and use it without or with the foregrip, you'll just find that that recoil just takes control and makes it very difficult to even secure a single kill. It's unreal how much difference the bipod actually makes to the recoil of the weapon, but it just means you've got to play more defensively and set up your positions in advance and wait for the enemies to come into your line of sight. Then for the secondary accessory, the best attachment by far has got to be extended mags. You get these after 30 kills and it doubles that mag size from 100 rounds up to 200 rounds, which gives you plenty to spray and mow down those big groups of bad guys. So that's about it for my guide to the M240B in Battlefield 3. As always, if you enjoyed this video, learned anything new, or if you're just a fan of the weapon, then I'd love a thumbs up down below just to help spread the word and give my videos more widespread exposure. Don't forget, if you ever want to send me a message or ask me any questions, then my Twitter profile is the best place to do so, link to which is down in the description. And also down there is the link to the playlist for this series, in case you want to watch back any of the previous episodes. So thanks so much for watching everyone, and I'll catch you all later.